Hello again, and I'm going to talk to you tonight about eyelashes, eyelids and eyelashes. There is also another video on eyelids, and in particular I'm going to put on eyelashes and lids on this little bear. You will have seen this bear before if you have been watching any of the other videos, and she's very much a work in progress. We decided it's going to be a she, and I think you'll understand why when we put the eyelashes on. I've already put the eyelids here, and they're just attached with pins at the moment. They've been on for a little while because I want them to sort of take shape. And I also wanted to make sure I'm getting the look that I wanted. But I'm going to show you how to make the eyelids, and then we'll move on to attaching the eyelid and lashes. Okay, so here we have just two small oval pieces, semi-oval pieces. And this is what I use to make very simple felt eyelids. Okay. To get a really good finish on the eyelid itself, we actually need to bend the end of the felt over, so it does become a little bit smaller, and it also gives a really nice finish to the lid. So I'm going to show you how I do that, and it's really, really simple. I take a cocktail stick or toothpick, I take some clear glue, and literally just put the tiniest amount of glue on the end. I just like to put a little bit on the end of the cocktail stick. That'll probably be enough for both. Just pop the lid back on the glue and take that out of the way. Okay, then I'm actually going to put a bit of glue just on the edge here and just smooth it on with the cocktail stick. Okay, that's probably a little bit too much, so I just need to take some of that off. Doesn't need to be too much, but it needs to be enough that it will fold back on itself and stick. So I'm just wiping that glue across there. Don't know if you can see that. Just a touch more glue, only a little tiny bit. And also, if you put it on the end of a cocktail stick, as I say, it just allows you to control the amount of glue. Trust me, I've had it all up my hands before now, and I've been stuck to the felt, and actually I've ended up having to bin it and start again. So there we go. Just take that and put that in the waste pot. So don't know if you can see that there. There is just a little bit of glue up here in the top corner, and all I'm going to do is just fold that over. Just fold it over so that it sticks. I tend to put it around my finger like that, quite tight, so I get a really nice sharp finish on the lid. You see that? That's the underside. That's the outside. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with the other one. Just simply turn it over, squeeze really tightly between your fingers, and as I say, I like to just wrap it around my finger like that, just to start to give it some definition, because we want to wrap it around the eye. As you can see, there's the shape starting. Just need to give that one a little bit more a press. Now what we would do here, or what I would do, is actually attach that to over the eye on the bear that I wanted to put it on, but this was just for the purpose of showing you how I actually form that lid. They need to actually dry properly. So back to the head here. These are some eyelids that I made earlier on. It's just the felt, and I've just placed it over the eye, which was secured in. So if I remove these pins, that eye should actually come off. I'm just trying to do this in front of the camera. Okay, so the eyelid will just pop out. But as you can see there, if you look closely, it's got a good shape to it. You will also see, try not to do too much flattening of it, here it was actually over the eye itself. So what I'm just going to do there is just trim it back slightly, so actually we'll end up with a better shape to the eyelid. And we can also needle felt that back as well. So actually that's a much nicer fit. That's the one with the pins in still. Much nicer fit, much tidier. I'm just going to secure that back in position because I'm just going to undertake the same procedure with the other eye, because I want to get them as similar as possible. I mean, if you look at anybody's eyes, you'll see they're not exactly the same. Mine certainly aren't. I've got one slightly larger than the other. Let's take those pins out for a second. And again, I don't know if you can see it on that one. That's the second one. You just see where, maybe if I hold it that way, just a subtle difference. Can you just see there? I'm just going to trim that one round a little bit as well. My trusty little tiny scissors, just to trim that around. Just a nice neat finish. And put my little scraps out of the way. Also useful to put your scraps out of the way when working with glue, because you never know what you're going to end up getting attached to other things when there's glue around. Okay, so I'm just going to put those pins back into place with that eye. Just want to make sure I've got the eyes. No, they're slightly different. And this is where these pins really help, to help you position that eyelid just where you want it, so you're happy with how it looks. I think I'm happy. How does that look? Obviously we'll be brushing the hair back and things like that later on. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so I'm going to secure those in position with just a little blob of glue. But first I just need to take those off because we need to add the eyelashes. Now, if you've seen my other video on eyelids, and you'll have seen me describe how I put on eyelashes, but I thought it would be good to show everybody. So all I actually use are false eyelashes. I don't know if you can see that there. False eyelashes. You can buy these quite cheaply from eBay. I literally spent a couple of pounds, had several boxes full. I would never put them anywhere near my own eyes. They're far too spiky, far too coarse. Plus I'm not into wearing eyelashes, extensions and what have you. But they're great for making bears. So you can probably see here, I'll just get my tweezers, that I've actually got 2 pieces already cut. And they're just the odd ends. I just have to put them against the white background. It's not showing up against my t-shirt. And all I literally do is I get a full eyelash. I get my scissors. I decide how much I want. I usually go for 50-50. Just snip it. And I've not quite snipped it all the way through. Pull it apart, and then I've actually got 2 bear-sized eyelashes. Easy. When we're attaching the eyelashes to the lids, we need to remember how your eyelashes go. First I was trying to attach them that way. I'm wondering why I couldn't see the eye. But actually, they should go that way, with the eyelashes curled upwards. Okay, so I'm going to have a go at attaching those now. I'm just going to take these out of the box here. I'm hoping once I clear that away, you might still be able to see them. Yeah, I can see them on camera, so I'm hoping you can as well too. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the glue. I'm going to get a clean couple of cocktail sticks or toothpicks. I am going to finish off the eyelids with some needle felting, and I'll show you that after we've done it. So I'll just take my first bit. I have to put the lid back on. I hate seeing the glue all over the place, so I'm going to take my first eyelid off. We turn it upside down. We make sure that we've got glue right on the edge of the lid. Hoping you can see that there. Just there. Okay. I am then, before I actually put that on, I need to get these in the right order because it foxes me every single time I do this. I am going to get my eyelash. I am going to attach my eyelash to my lid. Can you see that? I've just attached it halfway because I just want a little flicky out bit. And then I'm actually going to place it onto her eye. I'm just going to turn around because I want to make sure I've got it in the right place. Nothing worse than a pair of squiffy eyes when you don't want squiffy eyes. I'm just going to put the pins back in just to help while the glue sets, to make sure it's in the right place so it doesn't move around. Okay, and I'll show you now. So you can see that's where I've just added it. Just a little flick at the sides. Okay, I'm just going to do the same with the other side. So again, glue, trusty cocktail stick or toothpick. Put my lid back on my glue. Put the glue just inside here onto the lid bit. Okay, doesn't matter if it goes back here because that's going to stick to the eye anyway. Take that out of the way. Then I have to turn it that way for me. Now they're just on the side there, just on the end. So that's how it would look. Okay, I'm just going to pop that onto the bear. Just need to try and marry this up so she looks like she's got a nice pair of eyes rather than looking slightly drunk. Just bear with me. I'm just going to put some pins in there, just hold it in place. It's actually given her a slightly different look. Quite cute, but a slightly different look. And I will find the other end of it. There we go. Just going to use my cocktail stick just to move things slightly. That's it, that's what I want. The cocktail stick just helps, like I say, just to get things in position. I always find it takes longer for the second one. Okay, there's the second one. So as you can see, she's now got the most gorgeous eyelashes. And we'll just leave those pins in place for a little while for the glue to dry. So while that's just drying sufficiently, I'm going to get the needle felting needles. Okay, if you've seen one of my other videos, you'll know a little bit about these needle felting needles. Incredibly sharp, and they do have little barbs on them. Probably won't pick that up in the camera. They might just seem like little black dots. Okay, and the way that a needle felting needle works is it takes the fibres from one fabric and pushes them through into the fabric, the fibres of the fabric that's underneath it, so that you're pushing it into. You use a stabbing movement to try and move those fibres in, and actually as you do that it does become a lot tighter and they intertwine and you get a really good finish. So I'm hoping these are, I think those are dry-ish. I'm going to leave those pins in just in case. Now here, let's just take those out of the way. Now around here, I'm hoping you can see, that's the sort of back line there of where the eyelid comes to. But actually I want to make a really neat finish and I want to tuck it underneath. So I'm just going in at a 90-degree angle at the back, at the edge of that felt, and pushing it under to give a really nice, neat finish. Now, if you decide to do it this way, take your time in doing this. It's really important because these are the fine finishing details. Just do some more around there, because that will also help to hold it in place. Obviously, you've got the glue as the primary, and then this is the secondary hold. Just need to have a look at it from my side. That's it. I'll just do that side. But like I say, take your time, because these are the fine finishing details. I'm quite happy with that. That looks good. Everything's in. You see that? So that's a lot neater than that one. You can see there. That's before and that one's after. I'm just going to tidy up the other side as well by pushing the edges in with the needle felting needle. If you do use this technique and you use it quite a bit, you'll end up getting quite quick at it. It's quite an easy technique to learn, because it's literally you just stab the fabric. Just don't stab your finger, because you will bleed all over the place. It's very, very sharp. So there, getting the look I want to. I'm now going to remove those pins, because that should be tight enough and in place. Okay. Just check it round with the needle felting needle to make sure I'm happy. We've got no stray bits. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other side. Sorry, I always get an itchy nose when I'm doing these things. I think it must just be all the fibres around and about in the air. I'll take the other pin out that side. Okay. So there we have the eyelids and lashes. Hi there. So we're continuing with our little pink bear, and we've now attached the eyes, we've done the eyelids, and we've done her lashes. You'll note that the pins are still in there, just waiting for the glue to finish setting completely. And I've also used a needle felting needle around the back of the eyelid just to attach the and to neaten off the end of the eyelid itself. What I'm going to show you next is a little bit of needle felting, and this is about putting some white underneath the eye just to really accentuate the eye. Not always necessary. You can needle felt it, you can use pens to do it. You can also put a disc of white felt. I usually have one in my needle box, but I haven't got one in there at the moment. I used to always have them in there and used to do some quite droopy eyes down here. This can give your bear a bit of a woeful look. But I'm going to show you the needle felting way. So I have some merino wool here. And I'm just going to take the tiniest amount, and it really is a tiny little bit, and then we bend it over. Okay, I am going to try and get the same amount for the second eye, so it really is a tiny little bit. Loop it over, hope you can see that, so it just becomes a small amount. Let's move that out of the way. It really does go a really long way. Okay, so the trick is with needle felting is to get it into shapes that become more manageable by twisting fibres and pushing fibres together. So I'm just trying to do that now, even before I take it anywhere near the bear. Now if we look at that piece now, it's not a massive piece, okay, but we're going to pop it underneath the eye there. And already we're looking at it thinking, oh my goodness, how much is there? But get your needle felting needle You'll have heard me talk to you about these before, and the sharpness of the needle and the little barbs that drag the fibres between the two different fabrics. And what we do is we just very simply start to poke that in. I don't know if you can see that very well. I'm not the world's greatest needle felter, this is just how I do it. I did go on a very quick needle felting course. Might help if I turn it that way, and then hopefully I can see it as much as you can. And we start to push the fibres underneath. Can you see? So that's eye number one. I'm just going to push a little bit further. Always start with a tiny amount. I don't want too much there. And that just forms the bottom. Just tidy that up there. I couldn't see that until I saw it on the camera. There is a little bit sticking out, so I'm just going to tidy that round. See that? And now I'm going to do the same on the other side with the other piece. Again, just lay it over and start to stab those fibres through. So, as you can see, looks a bit like the Pink Panther from that angle. The 70s cartoon, if you're as old as I am. Just start to stab that through. Keep checking your look each and every time. Now she looks a little bit more sort of cute and doleful rather than woeful. Just going to tidy that up slightly. And the more stabbing you do, the finer the fibres get as they knit together, so it gets tighter. So you get a cleaner, sharper lines. Can you see that? Probably only just. I'm just going to tidy that side up, because again, you've got to keep looking back at your work, just checking, am I happy with that? Do I need to do it more? Is there more on one side than the other? Do I need to tidy this up a little bit more? It doesn't have to be white underneath. You can do it as another lid. Just got a few little mohairs that have got caught in that there. So you can put a contrast there if you wish. There we go. Can you see her? It's only the tiniest little bit. It just accentuates the eyes. I'm just going to remove those pins because that should be set now. Take those out of the way. You see that little bit of white there around the eye? And the little bit there on that one. And that's literally all there is to it. Thanks for watching.